James Sulkowski. Thanks for joining me for another free art lesson. We're going to talk about material now, and folds in particular. So what I have here is just a white cotton cloth, so we could just study the values of the fold. See, we have to, the main thing is to keep it crisp, keep the material looking crisp, and use an economy of brush stroke. So let's say this is on the table plane, so we'll put this line here as my table, and the cloth will fall right off the table like this. So this would be good and helpful for a still life. So if you look at my website, jamessulkowski.com, you'll see several of my still life paintings, and some of them have material, have a tablecloth, and you'll see how to keep it simple. That's really the key, is keeping it simple. So find the big rhythms in the cloth. And actually, when I set this up, I want to make sure I have just some prominent folds that I could grab onto to paint, okay? So those are the main folds right here, and the light's coming from above and to the right. So the shadows will take a gray. I made a series of mixtures with titanium white and ivory black just to paint the white cloth here. So let's start with the shadows. So I have a gray about the middle of the palette here. So the cloth is falling off the table here. So let's do that. Put that in first. Wherever I see shadow, I'll put that in there, okay? We got plenty of medium here. Okay, see, this is sort of like a tube. This will roll around, which we'll get to shortly. Okay, light and shadow. So the lightest light in this case will be right across here. So as the cloth goes back, just to create this feeling of going back, I have a gray here. Like that, okay? Now here's a gray at cadmium lemon light value. See, it's not white yet. We're going to stay with the gray. We'll save the white for the highlights. See, so this is falling right off the edge of the table, and here's the light. We'll just mask this in with a light gray. But the key, though, is just to keep it as simple as possible. You don't want a cloth that's full of wrinkles. It just doesn't look good. Okay, I'm going to get a bigger brush just to mask the shadow area with. So I want that to be nice and smooth looking, not too rough. The big brush helps to pull it together too. See, if If it looks too spotty, the big brush will pull everything together. Okay? Okay, now we'll take another brush and we'll build our light. Here's some white. So you want to get that light on the edge here. And on the top of this fold, there's a nice light. So it moves across like that. Let's get a little more light. This is my light gray. We'll put that on there. And just put a little more paint on it, see? You want to talk about how the light reflects from the bottom here, coming back up into the painting. And I like to put a little yellow ochre in that because it gives a feeling of reflected light coming up into that cloth, see? When the light source is from the right, the reflected light comes back on the left, see? And it'll also come back on this area of this fold. See, get that shadow brush again and restate that shadow. Let's see, it comes down this way. See that there's a shadow? It's a fold is similar to a cylinder, which, and we covered that in one of my other free art lessons under basic shapes. But that's really what this fold is. See? And it's casting a shadow over here. And there's a little bit of a shadow under here. See, it turns. Just think of that cylinder shape turning. And then that goes back. And there's some more of the reflected light under this part of the fold right here. So that's a little bit of ochre and gray. We'll put that in there. If I was painting any other color cloth too, I'd put ochre into the reflected light, because that gives a feeling of, really, it gives a good feeling of a reflected light. But keep it crisp, keep these folds crisp. Usually in a still life I'll have the folds relate to the rhythm in the painting. And that's why I say if you look at my paintings on my website, you'll see that. Okay. Just keep this edge soft. This is just a cotton cloth. A little more shadow over here. So I could think of this in terms of three values: my light, middle, and shadow. Then I threw a reflected light in there, and then a highlight on top. So let's hit that white one more time, and See, I can get a little shimmer on that. Just load up the brush and get that in there. So those are the principles of painting a cloth. So you keep it simple, keep it nice and crisp. And that's your free art lesson for today. I'm James Sulkowski. Thanks for joining me.